And so Rudy, he then goes to his domain, the kitchen, chat, and he's like, gotta get something to fight Michael Myers. And Michael is like right on him, chat, about to grab him because he embedded his knife in the wall. And fucking, it's an infamous scene. Fucking Rudy goes to the spice cabinet, picks up a bunch of paprika, puts on his hand, goes, pocket sand. And Michael's like, ah! Like, it incapacitates Michael for a good minute. She's like, oh, the paprika. Hello, and thank you for checking out the video. I just want to let you know that I not only create content on my YouTube channel, Class in the Glass, but I'm also on Twitch, where I review movies, cartoons, and TV shows live, while also playing single-player games and multiplayer games. I also have a Patreon where subscribers have access to hundreds of video and audio commentaries for films and cartoons, as well as podcasts and videocasts. In the meantime, thank you again for watching, and enjoy the video.
What took you so long?
Trick or treat, mother.
But now, my friends, I want to go ahead and I want to jump into my review for Halloween Resurrection, which, like I said, multiple times on multiple platforms, I think this is one of the absolute worst Halloween films in the entire franchise. It's poorly written, it's poorly acted, it's sloppily edited, chat. Like, there's very little I like about this film. I mean, I suppose I like Busta Rhymes, although he's both, I think, the best and worst thing about the movie. He's bringing a lot of personality to it, no doubt. A lot of iconic, infamous lines the franchise come from him. And so I appreciate that. But there's just so much about this movie I just don't like. I don't like these characters. They're either... Most of them are just kind of boring. Not even that they're unlikable. They're just kind of there. They're just there to be meat. They're basically props in the movie. Even the new final girl that they have in here, Sarah Moyer. There's just nothing interesting about her. She's just talking like this for most of the movie. I just really want to learn more about Michael. That's all she does in the movie. I mean, honestly, the people that I feel like you're kind of wasting them. Katie Sackhoff, who plays the character, I think, of Jen. She's fucking great. Maybe because I'm bringing a lot into it because I'm a big Katie Sackhoff fan. Battlestar Galactica, chat. She's done a ton of stuff. She's fucking Bo-Katan in The Mandalorian. I think she's good. I think she's good. She seems to be having fun. I'm sure nowadays she said, oh yeah, movie's a piece of shit. I think this is one of her first big films. Also, there is just a lot of creepiness, especially from all the male characters. A lot of the guys in this movie are just fucking gross. in this film. And how it does away with the Laurie Strode character in the first 10-15 minutes. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, Chad. There's a reason why it has the infamous reputation that it has, and it deserves it. If one of the worst, if not the worst, Halloween film. But that's just kind of my general opinions on the movie. What about you guys? Have you seen Halloween Resurrection? And what are your general thoughts on the movie, chat? I'm curious. Let me know, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty details. Gross as fuck, says Alec. My favorite mess in that whole franchise. Well, Busta Rhymes, sure. Dumpster fire, says Bishop Sycamore. Mm-hmm. Yep. Also, yeah, the one guy, Kevin. Funny enough, the actor from American Pie. I forget the actor's name. But the character's name from American Pie is Kevin Myers. And so every time I was just looking, I was like, I'm just going to call this guy Kevin. Yeah, Kevin Myers. Catsby looks funny and awful. There's some funny stuff in it, some unintentionally funny things in it. Thomas Ian Nicholas, that's the guy. Yep, I think. Yeah, I'm going to call him Kevin. I'm going to call him Kevin, Chef. I've seen the reviews, says Catsby. Definition of bad. Yeah, definitely 2000, Chef. 2000, oof. 2000s were a pretty rough year for horror. You actually had them revitalize things to Scream, in 1996. But after that, man, it was a bad time for slashers in the 2000s, and that's when you had the torture porn era, and you just got this fucking glut of found footage, which is a lot of found footage shit in this. A lot of found footage rally type of stuff in this movie, and and a lot of ghost movies, And this thing even has some ghost supernatural shit going on. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. It was a rough time. Yeah, it's 2000. It was a rough time for cinema overall when you really think about it. Alec, it's a low song bullshit. I love the Laurie and Michael stuff. Everything after that is so bad, except the kiss. The kiss. We will talk about the kiss. But yeah, Chad, looks like for those of you who have seen it are not fans like myself. But chat, now we got to go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty details. And how do you start a Halloween movie in the early 2000s? At Arkham Asylum. We literally start, chat, at Arkham Asylum. What would have been cool, because I don't know what, this is like a random asylum somewhere in the United States, but would have been very interesting if this was actually at, like, I don't know, maybe, I'm not saying that I'm better than Rick Rosenthal. Funny enough, Rick Rosenthal is directing this movie, chat, and he has history with the Halloween franchise. This is his second Halloween movie he directed. Famously, he directed the second one, Halloween 2. Well, co-directed, because John Carpenter also directed a big portion of the movie. You couldn't say that he directed a lot of it, but he did. But Rick Rosenthal, he gets the credit for Halloween 2, 1981. So this is his return to the franchise. And Jesus Christ, listen, I'm not a Halloween 2, 1981 fan, any stretch of imagination. There's some stuff I like, but a very boring movie, I think, for the most part. Some cool kills, and I like how they maybe, and Donald Pleasance. Donald Pleasance in the movie is fucking amazing as Dr. Dr. Loomis. But other than that, not a big fan of this movie. And man, he managed to make an even worse Halloween film with Resurrection, chat. But what would have been interesting to me is if this started at the Smith Grove Asylum, which is where Michael Myers was at in the original 78 film. You know, I was like, that would have been really cool, because now, chat, Laurie Strode is in that asylum. But in this case, it's just some fucking random asylum somewhere in America. And you could tell this was made by someone who, Rick Rosenthal, the writers and everything, who just like have no idea what it's like to be at a mental institution or asylum, because you just have random patients walking around the hallways, outside in the grounds, like just doing in the corners, just jerking off and shitting on people. It's like, this is not how this works. It's just you can already tell this is so amateurish. It's so childish. But yeah, you're right. We literally start at Arkham Asylum, chat, with random patients walking around, going into things, carrying fucking pens and sharp objects around. It's like, it'll be fine. If they hurt each other, whatever. There won't be too much money that the state will have to pay then. There you go. Perfect. But we're introduced to these, two chatty Cathy nurses, chat, who are always going on about the biggest gossip, and they're giving everyone their fucking pills and shit. And the last person they got to give pills tonight is one of the most infamous patients in the Arkham Asylum, Laurie Strode. And the one nurse is like, "Who's Laurie Strode? I don't know who that is." And the other nurse is like, "Well, let me recap the last several decades of the Halloween franchise to you, okay? She was the survivor of the Haddonfield Massacre of 1978, all right? Tried to kill her earlier that Halloween and then later that Halloween at the Hayfield Memorial Hospital. She then faked her death and changed her name to good old Carrie Schmeckeldorf, and she was a headmistress at this prep posh school in Northern California. Well, her brother was the killer in 1978, and he came a-hunting for her. And, she thought she finally cornered him and cut his head off. But, that's not what happened. Shows, chat, we get the big retcon. Because it's like, okay, the last time is like, this is a follow-up. This is a sequel. It takes place. The movie starts out in 2001. And it's however many years after H2O, I guess 98, right? And, what we saw was like, well, fucking Laurie Strode cut off Michael Myers' head. He's dead. She's like, well, that's not what happened. What actually happened was, and we get this fucking flashback to one of the paramedics checking out Michael before loading him into the van or whatever, the ambulance. And Michael comes to life, grabs the guy, and crushes his vocal cords, and then puts his suit. So at one point, Chad, Michael Myers was completely naked, just dick and balls hanging out for everyone to see. And then borrows the other guy's outfit, which fits him perfectly, by the way. But he dresses himself up as the other guy's Michael Myers, puts the mask on him, boom. Laurie then steals the ambulance, as we all know, and flips and shit, pins him, and boom, cuts his head off. And so what he wasn't really doing was trying to reach out for his sister, like, "Oh, Laurie, I'm your brother, Michael." He was like literally trying to go, "Oh, help me, I'm not Michael Myers." And she killed an innocent man, and he had 3 children, chat. 3 children and 1 more on the way. That wife was just front pooping them out every other year, chat. And that one front pooped out baby will never know the touch of their father. It's horrible. It's horrible. And the nurse is like, "Well, why didn't he just call out to Laurie?" She goes, cause stupid. I told you, Michael Myers crushed his vocal cords so he couldn't say nothing. And she's like, "Well, by the way, the guy that like Michael attacked was this big fat guy." It's like the body type does not match up. It's like at least you could have done was match up the body type. It was just this, 40-year-old, just like, sad dad who was balding and shit. It's like, oh. And Laurie's like, yep, that's my brother, clearly. Yep, he's got that sad dad bod. Anyway, and you have the scene where the one paramedic arrives at the scene of the cop and he takes the mask off. He's like, oh, Jesus, it was the fat paramedic guy. And they go inside the room. And, Laurie, and then we get, also before that, we get a shot of just Michael Myers just walking in the woods. Just walking into the woods, Jeff. But then they enter Laurie Strode's room. It's funny with Jamie Lee Curtis because she said famously, I will do Halloween H2O, but I want to be sure that we kill Michael Myers. And I went, sure, yeah, you can kill Michael Myers. But what happened was she obviously didn't kill the Michael Myers. And the footage that you see in the beginning here with the flashbacks, they actually filmed a lot of that right after H2O, during the end of H2O's production. And they, there's other certain shots where it's like, okay, clearly you filmed that much later on. But some other stuff is like, okay, clearly you were filming this at the same time. And, Jamie Lee Curtis actually was kind of pissed off about that. And she initially did not want to do Halloween Resurrection. She's like, I don't want to come back. But the producer said, okay, well, what would make you come back for the movie? She's like, so you can kill me off in the first 10 minutes, which they promptly do. That's what they do. That was the only reason why she did this. And there was I think there was some weird, the CODs at the time, they were being asked oh, this is, Jamie Lee Curtis's last Halloween movie. What made her want to do it? After H2O, which she famously said that would be her last one. And the CODs lied. They were saying in the marketing for the film, she was just so excited. She loved the script. They said she loved the script and she wanted to be a part of it, which is bullshit because the script sucks in this movie. And then Jamie Lee Curtis, I think, after the movie came out, and he even said, it's like, no, I didn't say any of that shit. I wanted to kill him off, so I wouldn't be a part of this franchise anymore, which, she obviously came back for 2018, which is a much, much, much better movie than Resurrection. In any case, Chad, anyway, we're back here. Laurie Strode is now a sad-looking, haggard woman who just constantly is looking out the window. She has a little creepy Raggedy Ann doll, and the nurse is like, open up, Laurie. She's like, nah, and they throw a pill in there. And the younger nurse, the younger chatty cat, he's like, why does she like that? She's always looking out that window, almost as if she's still waiting for the return of her brother, Michael Myers. Or perhaps it's just the guilt for killing that sad dad paramedic. Anyway, who cares? And they eventually, they leave. And then we cut to Laurie, looks out the window, and Michael's just standing out there just going, hi, sister. You still need to pick up these keys. She still has the keys, Chad. 20-plus years later, 25 years later, still has those goddamn keys. And Laurie turns away. No, it doesn't even turn away. What's funny is, she stares at the window, Michael's there, and it cuts back to Laurie, who's still staring outside. And then we cut back to the window, and Michael's just gone. It's like, what are you doing? Why did he's like a ghost in this movie. It's like, I can understand if you look away and you look back, oh, he's gone. But no, she's just staring. And then he's like, poof, and they should have just put a puff of smoke. And Michael he just left. Eventually, chat, we cut away from, we see that when they put the pill in there, she takes the pill out of her mouth and she puts in the Raggedy Ann doll so she's not being all doped up. She wants to have a clear mind for when she has to face her brother one last time. Eventually, we cut to this fat guard. I'm going to call him, Billy. His name is Billy the guard. And, Billy the guard, he's hungry. And he needs to have a smoke break before he starts eating, chat. So he's patrolling the grounds. Not doing his job, by the way, because there's just fucking random people everywhere. But he's having a good old smoke break. And then, he gets bamboozled, chat. You think it's Michael Myers, but it's not. It's one of the patients there, Harold, who is obsessed with serial killers, chat. He knows all these fucking facts. He's pretty much like a true crime documentary enthusiast. He just went wrong. He's just too much. He was too passionate about it. Like, all right, you watched too many Netflix true crime documentaries. You need to go to the asylum now, Harold. He's like, okay. And he's wearing this clown mask, and he's reciting all these facts about John Wayne Gacy. And, Billy takes Harold to his room. But Michael's watching. He's there. He was actually there the whole time, Jay. I just want to see what Harold had. We then cut to the security guard room after Billy, the fat security guard, puts Harold away, and another fat security guard, I'm gonna call him Gary. He sees Michael on the cameras, and he's like, I thought you said you put Harold back in his room. I did put Harold back in his room. Well, he's out again. Oh, we gotta go get him. He's in the laundry room. So they go down to the laundry room, which looks gothic. Like, I know this is an insane asylum, but why is everything just covered in shit? Everything's grimy. There's cobwebs everywhere. It's like, I feel like they would keep the facility relatively clean. Anyway, they waddle down to the laundry room, and the one security guard, Billy, he stops at, what do you think, Chad? He wants to get a fucking snack from the vending machine, and the guy's like, what are you doing? He's like, I haven't had dinner. I missed dinner. My blood sugar's low. He's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go over here, and so he goes behind the corner, and he gets got. He gets gotcha by Michael. Well, meanwhile, Billy, he helps himself to a hostess cake. He helps himself to a hostess cake, a Twinkie or some chat. Oh, and the way they have this is, come on, don't put yourself through this. Poor actor, chat. He's just like crumbs are falling off his face, off his mustache, is covering his big old belly. It's like, come on, the shame. But then he hears something. And he's like, Gary, are you okay? And he waddles. Now, this shows you how poorly directed this is. Because he enters the laundry room, right? Like, oh, here's the laundry room. It's right in front of me. It's right in front of me, okay? And there you have all the various washing machines and dryers, like right there, boom, okay? And he goes up to them. See, here's this thing inside the laundry, the washing machine, or no, the dryer. It's going ba. And I hate that sound because sometimes when you get like shoes or something, it reminds me of the sound that shoes make inside of a dryer when maybe they get all muddy and something and like, oh, I gotta wash these. And you put them in the washing machine, you gotta put them in the dryer, but they make that. It's the same sound effect, yeah. But Michael Myers did not put the security guard's shoes in the dryer. He put his fucking severed head, the severed fat head of Gary's in there. And, Billy's like, oh! And then Billy walks back and he trips, and right there is the dead body. But it's probably been lying there forever. So had he entered the room, he would have seen the dead body, like it's right in the middle. So it's like, this is a continuity error right here. This doesn't make any sense. And then we see Michael, though. Michael was hanging up there and he dropped the body, but he pulled the same trick he did in H2O, sneaking behind, fucking Laurie, just kind of just remaining in this position the entire time. He drops down and he stabs Billy, the security guard, in his big old tum-tum, and all of the buttered noodles falls out of his tummy check. He lied. He did have dinner. He ate a bunch of buttered noodles. Eventually, though, Michael Myers, he's going to Laurie because he just knows where she is in the asylum, sure. Passes by Harold, who's just like, oh, Michael Myers, I'm a big fan. He's like, hey, man. And he just keeps walking, and he starts reciting all the Michael Myers facts that we all know, chat. 1978, and the babysitters in the hospital, and, all the events of H2O. And then he gets to the door. He looks in, and he sees a bed. He's like, someone seemingly is sleeping there. He's like, I'm sure it's not pillows this time. And he just pulls a Kool-Aid Man. He doesn't, punch the door. He just goes, oh, yeah, and he bursts through the fucking door, Chad. And he's, literally this close to it, but he's got that strength. Bursts through the door. And he goes over there, and he's like, I'm not going to bother lifting the covers because I'm pretty sure that these are not pillows. Starts stab, stab, stab. Oh, these are pillows, aren't they? And takes the cover off, and lo and behold, fucking Laurie Strode bamboozled Michael Myers again. A whole bunch of pillows. And he also stabbed the shit out of the Raggedy Ann doll. But then Laurie comes in with the steel lamp and bops and bonks Michael Myers on the head. He's like, God damn it. And Laurie, she takes off running. Michael's in hot pursuit, and eventually, Laurie, she goes up to the roof. Michael Myers, he bursts through the door, and he's walking over looking for her and shit. But then, she was behind the other door the whole time, and she's like, hello, Michael. And he turns around, and she pulls this rope, and she's jury-rigged it to where it catches on his fucking ankle, and it lifts him up into the air. She's like, ah! And he's hanging there and shit, and he drops the knife. He also drops the knife, too. And she hangs him up. By the way, she lifts this guy. He's fucking really heavy. But she lifts him, ties him up, and he's just kind of, hanging there like this and like, God damn it. And then Laurie, she grabs a knife, and she's like, it's over, Michael, it's over. I'm leaving the franchise. And Michael's like, okay, but you gotta take these keys back. And she's like, oh, I left those on the porch. Sure, I'll take the keys. He's like, I've been trying to give these to you for the last 20 goddamn years. And she's like, my apologies. And she reaches out, but Chad, he tricked her. Chad. He tricked her because she grabs her hand. She's like, no. And then what happens is she cuts the rope, which is connected to him, and they fall, but he grabs the knife and right in the back. gets her right in the back, chat. And she's like, oh, Michael, goodbye. And she gives him a big old smooch on his mask lips, chat. And then he releases her and she falls into the CGI green screen below. Boom, and falls down dead. But hey, Michael's like, hey, at least I finally gave her those keys back. And then he fucking leaves the hospital. And then that's when we hear the bum, 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 the John Carpenter score. Got that coming in there. And before he leaves though, he gives, so this is interesting. I want to know how you guys read this. So he goes back to Harold and he gives him the kitchen knife. Now, does he give him the kitchen knife because he knows this guy likes serial killer stuff? Or does he give him the kitchen knife hoping that he'll then be blamed, Harold will be blamed for killing the guards and for killing Strode? Laurie Strode. I think it's that. I feel like more, like Michael's like, I wouldn't be blamed. I don't know. I'm very curious about that. What do you think, Chad? What do you think? But eventually we cut from that. Now it's a year later. It's now the year 2002. And we're introduced to a whole bunch of boring characters at Haydenfield State University. We get a cameo from the director. He directed this good. We get a cameo of Rick Rosenthal in the beginning of the classroom shot. We have the professor. That's Rick Rosenthal, the director of the movie. He's there talking about the evil that is in men and women's souls and how it can be harnessed and used for destruction. And we're introduced to the first of the very boring characters in this film, Sarah Moyer, who you were trying to set this person up as the successor to Laurie Strode. Give me a goddamn break. She's like the character of Sarah Moyer is like the Sam Carpenter of her time, Chad. Sam Carpenter, most recently in the Scream film, is she's taken over from Neve Campbell's Sidney Prescott. It's like, give me a goddamn break. No, she's not. She's pretty much that equivalent, except even less interesting than Sam Carpenter, in my opinion. And I mean, she's just kind of, she's a dork. She's just always talking like this and she doesn't really talk all that much. I just want to do good at school. But she has a very fun friend, named Jen, played by Katie Sackhoff. And listen, it's always great to see Katie Sackhoff in things. I think she's a very underrated actress, Chad. Her character, she's very bubbly, you know. You can even describe, you know what, because I thought, she plays the stereotype. She's the big boobed, blonde and bimbo in the movie. And she is that, but at least she's doing something. At least she's having fun, Chad, you know. But they're there, and apparently Jen entered herself and Sarah into this scholarship program, which is called Dangertainment. I don't understand how this works, but a reality show called Dangertainment. It's a web reality show hosted by Busta Rhymes and Tyra Banks, right? And I guess they do documentary series on serial killers and haunted houses and all that shit. They do research and things. And I guess they have a scholarship program looking for young people, young college students who are heavily, heavily in debt to participate in these, various shootings. That's what they do. And it's very involved. I mean, really what the movie is, it's just like they're capitalizing on, the internet, and kids are going to watch everything on the internet, which I guess they were right. But, it's filled with all those kinds of tropes. It's like, all their TV shows are going to be web shows eventually. And it's like, wow, they actually were correct. It's just how they do it here is terrible. Is terrible. But she entered Sarah, and then Sarah's kind of unsure. Like, she needs the money because she is thousands and thousands of dollars in debt and will be probably for the rest of her life. And Jen, she's in debt as well, and she wants to be, she wants to be a star. She wants to be an actress as well. And, she's still kind of like really unsure about that. After that, wonderful little introduction, they go, they go to their friend who also apparently she entered into it, was Rudy the chef, chat. He likes to cook. He has two things that define him, chat. He likes to cook food and he's black. That's it. Pretty much it. And, he's just like, well, I need the money too. So that sounds fun. They're like, fantastic. But before they do that, Sarah Moyer wants to talk to her internet boyfriend. And both Rudy and Jen are very dismissive of the internet boyfriend, Deckard. because they don't trust him. They think he could be like a 50-year-old fat man on the other end jerking off. So they're like, you don't know who this guy really is. He's like, no, he's nice. And so they go back to their dorm room, and where Sarah is messaging good old Decker chat. But right before they're about to leave, this random creepy guy comes in. I'm going to call him Steve Magoo. That's his name, because they're talking about, going into the house. They entered in the scholarship, and this Dangertainment, episode is going to be about researching the life of Michael Myers. What was his childhood like? What made him want to kill Judith Myers and his sister Laurie Strode and like all these people for all these years? That's the whole thing. And they're talking, Steve Creepy Magoo hears this shit, and he just starts talking, oh yes, Michael Myers killed his sister all the way back in the day in the early 1960s. Oh, it was horrible. Judith Myers, she was alone, innocent, naked. And while he's doing this, we see that Sarah and Jen's panties are just hanging up on a fucking wire, like right at the front of the door, chat. And as he's doing this narration, creepy Steve Magoo just takes one of the panties and goes, and it's like, oh God, this is so gross. Yes. And he soon sought his sister, and he killed her. Mwah! Mwah! It just starts going, mwah. I'm like, what's going on? And Jen's like, all right, get your creepy ass out of here, creepy Steve Magoo. And he leaves. She's like, sorry, that's what creepy Steve Magoo does. And he's gone. He's not on the rest of them. I'm like, I hope they kill this guy. They don't. He doesn't come back. He just leaves. After that, that wonderful sequence, we go, because, Sarah, she messages her boyfriend, and Jen's still, chastising her about it. But then we meet internet boyfriend, Miles, who I think is, his screen name is, Deckard chat. And he's talking to his boy, his, early 2000s boy with the very gelled up hair. And he's like, hey, dude, you don't even know if, like, she's hot or something. She could be, like, just a total nerd and, like, ugly and pimply. He's like, no, she's really attractive and she's really smart. I really like her. He's like, oh, you're such a fucking loser. We're going to go to this party or not? And he's like, no, I just want to stay home and talk to Sarah. And I said I was going to watch her episode of Dangertainment, hosted by Busta Rhymes. He's like, oh, you're such a fucking loser, dude. He's like, no. After that, we then cut to, because Jen said, listen, we got to show off the bazoongas and the booties when we are on camera, okay? So we need to get you a nice bazoonga shirt, and you got to get you some nice pants to show off the booty butt. And, Sarah's like, I don't really want to show off my boobs or my butt. She's like, too bad, we're going. And so they go to this store, and they start buying clothes. They need some clothes and stuff. And when Sarah, walks out of this the dressing room, Michael Myers is just standing outside the store, just staring at her like this. She's like, ah! And then they're like, oh, they all run up to her and go, what? And it goes, it's Michael Myers, and he's just gone. So I don't know if Michael was literally outside just looking at this woman. It's like, I've chosen you, Sarah Moyer. You will be my new Laurie Strode. Or he just wasn't there to begin with. I'm not sure. There's constant shots, and H2O did this with my criticism of H2O. There's these constant phantom Michael Myers is showing up, and I'm like, okay, you could explain that it's Laurie's PTSD that she keeps seeing Michael Myers, but in this one, you have no fucking clue. Why Sarah Moyer's seeing Michael Myers. I don't know. Anxiety, but still, it's just and, Rudy and fucking Jen, calm it down. Katie Sackhoff, calm her down. And I'm like, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Let's meet at Motel 8. Because apparently, Chad, that's where, I guess, Busta Rhymes has rented out is there a dine? Do the motels, Motel 8, do they have dining rooms? Apparently so. Because Sarah, she goes to the Motel 8 dining room, and we're introduced to the rest of the cast in the movie, Chad. All disposable fucking meat, whether it be male or female. We're introduced to the guy from American Pie, who, funny enough, his character was named Kevin Myers. He's there. He's just a total creep, just wants to grope all the women in the movie and touch all their butts. Seriously, there's several scenes where he does that. You have dumb Velma, who is this redhead, and she I want to learn about Michael Myers' psychology, but really she's just there to fuck. That's what she's really there. And then we have another character who looks very much like Steve Hyde from that 70s show, Shetty. He has the glasses, he has the hair. I'm like, is this supposed to be Steve Hyde? I don't know. This looked exactly like him. And they're all interviewing them, and Steve Hyde Also, he's putting on a front like, no, I want to learn about the evil in Michael Myers' soul because that evil exists in us too. We're capable of the same things that Michael Myers is doing. But he's really just there for the money and to help, everyone's there just to pay off their college debt, which I'm like, that's a hell of a fucking motivator, right? And, Busta Rhymes and Tyra Banks, they're kind of leading this particular, this session. And Tyra Banks, all she's doing, like, watch the movie again. All Tyra Banks is doing in the film is eating something. She's eating something and drinking something. That's all she's doing. So she is just progressively stuffing herself throughout the movie and just going, just getting fatter. Meanwhile, Busta Rhymes, he is not impressed with the various people who have appeared on camera. He's like, I'm not liking these interviews. They're not going to be good for the show. But then Sarah Moyer, she comes out, and they start asking her questions, and she's like, I just really want to know more about Michael Myers. I feel like he's a really interesting person in subject, and I'm doing a thesis. And then Charlie, the cameraman who's there, who's looking for Tyra Banks and Busta, he pushes a light over by accident and slams in the ground and it breaks. And Sarah just lets out this high pitched scream, "Ee!" when it causes like all the glass in the room to just break. And everyone's like, God damn! And Busta Rhymes is like, yeah, that's my girl. I'm gonna make so much money. Later that evening, we then cut to a really unnecessary. Actually, you know what? It's not unnecessary, chat. It's very necessary. We cut to a scene where Busta Rhymes is watching kung fu movies and talking to himself. It's like, ooh, yeah, man, it's my boy. That's Bruce Lee right there. Hwa-cha! Hwa-cha-cha-cha-cha! He's literally doing hwa-cha-ha-cha, hwa-cha-ha sound effects, chat, while watching his various Bruce Lee movies. And he hears a knock on his door. It's like, someone's interrupting me and Bruce Lee. Who the hell is that? And so he goes to the door, opens it up, and it's Sarah. And she's like, Sarah, what are you doing here, girl? And she's like, I'm sorry, Busta Rhymes, but I'm just not cut out for this kind of thing. I'm a little nervous about being on a show, and I don't know, it just doesn't seem like I'll be a good fit. He's like, no, girl, no. The thing is, this whole show, it's about confronting one's fear, understanding fear, and by understanding fear, we can conquer fear. There's a drive in you. There's a courage in you. You gotta be like Bruce Lee and wha-ha! Wha-da-da! You gotta be like Bruce Lee and just wha-ha in the face, wha-ha fear in the face, and with that, girl, you can do anything. She's like, thank you, Busta Rhymes. That meant a lot to me. He's like, no problem, girl. No problem. And she leaves, and then Busta Rhymes continues to go, just go and talk to himself. He's like, yeah, Busta, yeah, ooh, just improvise that one right there. You one smooth motherfucker, yeah. Oh, gotta get back to my Bruce Lee film. He goes inside, and goes back, and he watches his Bruce Lee film, chat. Later on, and we then cut to the Myers house. We cut back to the Myers house, chat, which does not look like the Myers house actually anymore. It's very decrepit looking. It looks fucking fake. It's like that fake decrepit. It looks like a haunted house now. It's like, this is not how the house originally looked like. But actually, there's a reason for that. There is a reason for that. I have to give the film credit. There's a reason why it looks like a fake haunted house. It's because Busta Rhymes and Tyra Banks made it look that way for a very specific reason. But we're there with Charlie the cameraman and Tyra Banks, who is just continuously eating and drinking things in the scene. And she's like, oh, God, Charlie, move the cameras around. And he's like, okay. And Tyra Banks wants the camera one because she's in like the camera room. And so, he's in the front of the house. This is the middle of broad daylight, by the way. And, Tyra Banks is like, put the camera right there at the foot of the stairs. And Charlie's like, no, it's a boring shot. No, we don't want it straight. You want to have it like up, or you want to have it, from below. Makes it more cinematic. And she's like, Charlie, I don't fucking care, okay, about the directing. And clearly, no one cared about the directing in this movie. Oh, we know, Tyra. We know. And he's like, you don't understand, all right? I went to the same school as Spielberg, okay? I want to be the next Spielberg. That's what I want to do. I want to make sure we can put on the best show possible. She's like, oh, I got to make my cappuccino. Oh, and she has to lift herself out of the seat. And she goes and I have to admit, she makes a incredible looking coffee drink, chat. I mean, she's adding, it must be like an Irish coffee she's making. It's like Tyra. It's literally 9:30 in the morning. You're drinking whiskey. You're drinking fucking Kahlua, just mixing all that in. I mean, good for you, girl, but Jesus. And while she's doing that, Charlie is attacked by Michael Myers. Because Michael's like, hey, have you seen my spare keys? Charlie's like, ah, and he freaks out because Michael's also like, what the fuck are you doing inside my house? Because he lives there now. I guess he came back. He came home, Chad. He came home, didn't he? And he's like, also, you dropped your camera. And then Michael, he stabs. He uses a tripod. And I've used tripod cameras a lot, chat, throughout my life, especially nowadays. But he has this tripod with these razor sharp ends on them. It's like, they don't have those. I know. So that really took me out of the moment. But Charlie's like, no. And then Michael just stabs him with the tripod, kills him. And then he drags the body. And then the thing is, though, Michael it's a little thing we don't often bring up, chat. But I'm like, I noticed it more and more. Michael's an artist because he positions the camera perfectly right at the foot of the stairs, and it's actually a good shot. He has a fucking eye for this kind of thing. And then Tyra Banks, she fucking waddles back, and she sits down, and she's like, oh, Charlie, that looks good, man. You did a good job. After that, we then cut to the whole cast arrives at the Michael Myers estate. They're all there. Fucking Busta Rhymes arrives. He puts cameras in everybody. You know, they all have like these, their own personal, webcams that attach them and their own audio. So then people can log into the website of Dangertainment and watch the show. Is there like a subscription fee? Is there a subscription fee for Dangertainment? Like, none of this is brought up. I'm like, are you just guys, how are you making money? Are there ad breaks? Like, none, again, it's just kind of weird. It's just kind of weird to me. Like, are there ads connected to Dangertainment? Do you have a subscription fee connected to Dangertainment? It's pretty much like they made a web show, and they didn't understand all the additional things that probably go into it, like making a web show, and how do you advertise it? How do you make money from it? It's like, you just make a web show, you just get money. I don't fucking know. It doesn't make, I assume subscription fee. I don't know. Anyway, they all get there, and they explain all the equipment that's on them, and the dumb Velma character's like, cameras, they're very masculine. They're very phallic. Down with the patriarchy! And we're like, okay, sure. Yep, down with the patriarchy. She puts on the very phallic camera. And eventually, they all go inside. They all go inside. And Busta Rhymes like, explore the house and learn more about Michael Myers. This is for research purposes. See you later, y'all. And he goes and hangs out with Tyra Banks, who was just stuffing her face. The cast enter the house. And they just notice already. It's like, yeah, this doesn't make any sense because the entire house just has like a shit ton of furniture and everything. Like, got cobwebs everywhere. It's like all of this would have been. First of all, we all know this stuff was taken out of the house. Like in 1978, like the house is empty when like Laurie Strode and her father, Mr. Strode, is trying to sell the house and all the furniture's been removed. So why is all the fucking furniture back now? It doesn't make any sense. And so because it's all done up as a prop, so they just start noticing like a bunch of just fake shit. They notice like a weird looking baby chair with like a giant key and locks on it where they kept Michael Myers as a baby so he wouldn't reach out and rip off his mama's tit or something. Like that's what they're doing, chat. They Rudy the chef, because he's like, I want to go inside this big old kitchen because he loves those, old kitchens, chat, because they're so huge. Plenty of space to work and operate. And he goes to, as you all know, Rudy, he's got to go and check out that spice cabinet. But he notices all the fucking spices are new. He's like, that's fresh thyme. That's fresh paprika. Ooh, that doesn't make any sense. This is unusual. And so everyone's like, all right, I think this is kind of bullshit. Meanwhile, we cut back to Deckard, who he wants to watch the episode of Sarah, but his friend is like, nah, dude, no, man, we got to go to this fucking party. And he says, party like party, and does hand things like this. And Deckard's like, I just really want to watch my girlfriend. He's like, your fake internet girlfriend, dude. I mean, she's not real. So come on. We got to go as, fucking Jules and Vincent from Pulp Fiction. But then Deckard's like, but we're white. And he goes, yeah, man, but I'm going to represent the people. I'm going to be fucking Jules, dude. And it's like, oh, God. At least he did. You know what, Chad? He has a Jerry curl. And he has the facial hair, but I'll give this random character, the friend of Deckard, this. As offensive as he's being, at least he didn't do blackface. At least someone in the cast, someone knew and said, hey, can we not have him in blackface? And they went, yeah, we'll do that. So thank God. And so they leave for the fucking party, and they're at the party, and it's, his friend goes off and meets some girl and starts smooching. But, Deckard, he just wants to watch Sarah. And so he sneaks in this one guy's room. His father's, I guess, it's the owner's office. Very elaborate, for 2000s. Goes in there. He's got this giant TV monitor connected to the computer, and he logs in. And he starts watching Dangertainment, chat. Eventually, we then cut to Kevin, good old Kevin Myers, chat, from American Pie. He's hanging out with Katie Sackhoff, and he is just constantly on. He just randomly, like at one point when they're looking at all the stuff in the kitchen, he just starts petting her. He starts like petting her, and she's like, "Why are you petting me?" He's like, "Don't you like it? All girls like it." And she's like, "Get away from me." And then eventually it's the two of them are by themselves, and they're walking up the stairs, and like Katie Sackhoff trips a little bit because the stairs they're not, they're very decrepit and old, and she almost falls forward, and he just grabs her by the ass, just boom, just grabs them cheeks and kind of lifts her up, and she's like, "I got it, thanks." He goes, okay, just trying to help, just trying to lend a helping hand, and you need a lot of help with a booty that big. She's like, "Shut up," and like his camera's just looking directly at her butt, and meanwhile we cut back to the party where more and more people are watching Dangertainment with Decker, and they're like, "Yeah, she's got a nice ass, woo!" And listen, it's Katie Sackhoff, and she absolutely does, but Jesus Christ. The sexualization of all these characters, and they go up the stairs. At one point, Kevin he's trying to basically get Katie Sackhoff to take her top off and wants to just have sex with her, and and he's basically saying like, "Oh, listen, just one quick flash, just one quick boob flash, and you'll be internet famous forever." And she's like, "Oh my God, yeah." And she starts to she takes off her top. She's like lifting it up. We see this black brassiere, chat. Very tasteful, very tasteful. And then, boom, and she pulls it down. She's like, "No, how about not?" And she's like, "Yeah, she has the self-confidence. She has the self-confidence not to indulge this creepy fuck." And he's like, "I want to see boobies." But you're not going to get them. You're not going to fucking get them. We cut to the party. It's like, "Oh, man, I want to see some boobs." Eventually, though, we cut back from all that good stuff. At one point, they wander off. Like Katie Sackhoff, she wanders off, and then she goes, "Ah!" She starts screaming. Everyone's like, "Oh, fucking shit!" And Rudy and Sarah and then Kevin, they all go to the room. She's like, "Ha ha ha ha! I scared you guys. I scared you." And they're like, "Jesus Christ, Katie Sackhoff." She's like, "What? It's what people want to see. They want to be scared." And you're like, "Oh, but that was too much. It was way too much." After that, we then get. Oh yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Sarah, they start to explore the upstairs rooms, and Sarah, she goes over to this closet, and she opens up the closet, and bah! Like a mannequin falls out. She's like, "I hate mannequins!" And she falls in the closet, and then we also like constantly chat. They cut back and forth to like their own found footage, but like how the movie usually looks like, and man, you're gonna get fucking whiplash every time they do that. Editing this is terrible, but Rudy, he breaks through the closet like Michael Myers did in 1978. A little reference there. And, they go ahead and they calm down Sarah. Meanwhile, good old Kevin, he's very mad that he didn't get to see Katie Sackhoff's boobies, chat. And so he goes into a separate room and he finds a mirror. And he's just kind of looking at himself as like, "We'll make Katie Sackhoff pay. We'll make her pay for tricking us." Like, this guy's a fucking psychopath. And he's like, "You're beautiful, Kevin. Never forget that." And then Michael Myers bursts through the fucking mirror like, oh yeah, like it's his second Kool-Aid moment, and just drags Kevin through the mirror. He's like, no, and he just stabs the shit out of him, and he kills him. Chad, he's dead. Gets him right through the fucking head. Kills Kevin. Eventually, though, we then cut to Steve Hyde and Dumb Velma, and they're exploring the basement area. And eventually, they're flirting back and forth, and it's bad. And they notice like this manhole cover in the middle of the basement, and it was a key slot. And Steve Hyde's like, "I'll be right back." But she's like, "I'm horny." And he's like, "Don't worry, we'll consummate." He goes upstairs because he finds the key that was attached to the baby stand. The baby seat. And he goes back down, they open it up, boop, and it's this secret chamber where they find like a bunch of scary baby toys in there. They find like this harness and shit. And apparently, chat, Dumb Velma, when she sees that harness and all the various creepy baby toys and just the dried up human feces and piss stains, she's like, "This is just making me so horny. Let's fuck right here." He's like, "You want to go someplace more sanitary?" She's like, "No, I like it." And then she's the one to take off the top, and then we see the boobies, chat. We see the bazungas. And then Steve says, "Say something smart." She's like, 2 + 2 = 4. Oh, and that gets him hard, Chad. That finally gets him hard. And they proceed to consummate the lovemaking. As they're making love, Chad, the fucking wall starts to come apart, and out falls all these various dead bodies and arms and shit. They go, oh, and they're like, Jesus Christ, and like 2 of the hands fall on her boobs. It's like, she like has to throw them away. And you know, dumb Velma's like, oh my God, it's all of the people he's ever killed. It's all of his victims. But then Steve, he grabs one of the body parts. He grabs like an arm, and on it says, he reads, made in Taiwan. And then we cut to Tyra Banks and Busta Rhymes, who are laughing. So, you know, this was a whole fucking ruse. They basically booby-trapped the house. They booby-trapped the house to have all these things happen to scare people. That's what's been going on. Eventually, Steve's like, well, hold on, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go find, you know, Rudy and Sarah and Kevin and, you know, and Katie Sackhoff. She's like, okay, I'll be right behind you. But before she leaves, she notices behind the faux wall, behind the fake wall, there's a hole. And it's leading out to something. She's like, what's that? 'Cause she sees like a light. And she moves away all the fake debris, and she goes in there, and she's in the sewer system, basically, Chad. And she continues walking down, and she pretty much comes to the abode of Michael Myers, where he's been actually living. And we see, and it's just, he just has a bunch of shit buckets and piss buckets, Chad. He's got, like, cages filled with half-eaten animals and shit. He has one picture, he has a bed, he has like a little doll of its eyes with these 2, like, darts in it, just like, like that. And he has one picture of Laurie Strode right above his bed. And that's kind of creepy. His sister. You know, she turns around and Michael's there. She's like, get out of my room. She's like, oh, and she freaks out and she runs away. But then she comes to this gate that has been kind of like torn apart, and it's like these spikes are sticking out. She's like, oh my God, I can't get out of here. I'm too voluptuous. And Michael's like, yeah, you are. Grabs her and just impales her on the gate, Chad. And you know she died because she got boob stabbed. And as we all know, when you get boob stabbed, Chad, you die. You die instantly. That's how that works. And so dumb Velma is dead. And Michael, he does the little head turn like, oh, yeah, I made good work here. After that, we then, we then get to one of the most infamous moments in the movie. We then cut to Michael Myers, who's exiting out of the garage, and he's walking into the house, and he has the knife in hand. And then he turns a corner as he's walking, Chad, and we see another Michael Myers appear behind him. And then this Michael Myers hears the other Michael Myers make a creaking sound on the floorboards, and he turns around and he's like, oh, what the hell, man? Charlie, is that you? It's me, Buster. I'm supposed to be Michael Myers. Why are you dressed up as Michael Myers, motherfucker? Are you dumb or something? I'm Michael fucking Myers. I gotta scare these kids. People won't buy this. There's 2 Michael Myers running around. What the hell's wrong with you? Are you listening to me, Charlie? And he has to go up to him. And Michael's just like, whoa, no one's ever talked to me this way. And Busta Rhymes like, can you hear me, Charlie? And he's like, he starts poking him in the head. And Michael's just allowing this. And he's like, get your ass in the garage. Tyra Banks is in the garage. She got the bubbly guts. She can barely stand. She's beating all goddamn day. Go in the garage. And Michael's like, okay, I'm going to go to the garage. So Michael just leaves. Michael Myers, for the first time in his life, Chad, gets flustered. He's like, oh, okay, I'm going to leave now. He walks away. He just leaves. I was like, holy shit, if only we could have, if only people had the wherewithal, the knowledge to know that if they just yelled at him enough to just make him so intimidating, he would just walk away. And it's dumb. It's dumb, but it's a highlight of the movie. It's one of the highlights of the film, Chad. After that, we then cut to Katie Sackhoff and Rudy. They're getting high. I don't know if they're a couple. Like, I'm kind of confused if Katie Sackhoff and Rudy are, and Sarah, I guess that's their friend group. Like, they're the 3 that really know each other. But it's like, is Rudy and Katie Sackhoff, are they dating in the movie? I don't even remember. Like, I watched it so recently, but I couldn't tell. Clearly they have a good relationship because they're just fucking getting high. Katie Sackhoff about her bond, and they're going fucking back and forth, and they're failing at high-fiving and shit. And so it's like, all right, cool. They're enjoying themselves. They're really enjoying themselves right now. Oh, and people are still watching this with Deckard at the house party. They're all watching all this stuff at one point, and it's funny. Katie Sackhoff goes, "It's so cool that we can do this, in a place where there's no cameras." And Rudy's like, "Katie, we're wearing cameras," and she's like, "Oh." They start laughing. At least they knew. But then we cut to Sarah, who is reading something. Who comes up behind her, chat? Fucking Michael Myers, and grabs her, and she's like, "Oh!" And fucking everyone hears this. Katie's mid-bond rip. She's like, but Rudy, he's like, "I'm not mid-bond rip, so I'm gonna go down and check." He runs down there, and Steve, he's also there. He finally gets up there, chat. And they attack Michael Myers, who's attacking poor Sarah, and they start beating the shit out of him. But then Michael's like, "Motherfucker, get your hands off me! Cut the cams! They all cut the cameras off, and they're like, "What the Buster Rhymes? Is that you?" "Yeah, motherfucker, it's me." And they're like, "Buster, what is this, man?" It's like, "It's part of the show. But you said that this is for research." Like, "Nah, man, it's reality TV." And the one that cares like, "But isn't reality TV supposed to be real?" And he's like, "Nah, that shit's fake." That shit's fake as fuck, okay? People want to be scared. People want to see people fucking. People want to see boobs. That's what they want to see, motherfuckers. So, be scared. I'm Michael Myers, all right? So you're going to turn your cans back on when I'm gone, all right? And then we're going to do this. And like, "I don't want to do this, Buster." I don't care saying this. And he's like, "Listen, motherfucker, you want to get paid? I got that money. All right? I'm going to give you that money. All right? That's what you're going to get if you do this. If you don't do this, you don't get that goddamn money." Like, "Oh, fuck, shit." But eventually, he leaves. But Sarah and Rudy, they're like, "Fuck this." They just really don't want to do this at all. And even Steve's like, "I'll stick around, but I'm barely going to do anything." All right, fine. Do what you want to do, Steve. Eventually, we cut back to Katie Sackhoff, who is who's exited the closet. She's like, she's recovered from her mid-bond rip, and she notices as she's walking, she's fucking high and shit, but she notices there's this attic door right in front of her, and she notices it's like kind of moving a little bit, and she's like, "Oh, is that you, Kevin, you fucking perv? You trying to get a good look at these?" And she pulls on the string, and then boom, out falls Kevin's dissected, just bloody, gory body. She's like, "Ah!" And she runs. She's at the foot of the stairs, on the top of the stairs, chat, and they're like, "Katie Sackhoff, you're not gonna scare us again." And she's like, "No, guys, you don't understand. Kevin from American Pie is dead." And they're like, "What, really?" And then who fucking comes behind Katie Sackhoff, chat? Michael Audrey Myers. And he grabs her, and she's like, "No!" And then, bah! He slices her with the kitchen knife, chat, cuts Katie Sackhoff's head off, chat. It's like, "No, not Katie Sackhoff." And her head falls down the stairs, and they're like, "Holy fucking shit, this is real." And they're like, "Oh," and they start to run, and Michael Myers is like, "But I need to find my keys." And so he walks down the stairs, and Steve, he thought he was such a big shot taking on Busta Rhymes, chat. He's like, "I could take on Michael Myers." And Michael's like, "No, you ain't, motherfucker." Michael, this is what Michael does. It's pretty kind of badass. Michael's like, "I don't even need my knife to kill you." Michael Myers takes a knife, boom, puts it in the wall, and just grabs Steve and just goes, and Steve's like, "Oh," and then smushes his head, crushes his head, chat, drops his body. Meanwhile, Michael, he's going towards Sarah, because Sarah's like, "Oh, God, I'm helpless. I don't know what to do. I'm a woman. I don't know what to do." And then Rudy's like, "God damn it." "Oh, no. I got to perform the sacrifice." And he's like, "Michael, I'm a black man in a horror film." And Michael's like, "Ooh, dinner bell." "Are you now?" And as we know, Chad, this is a movie. It follows the rule. It follows the policy. If you're brown, you're going down. And Sarah runs up, "Thank you for performing the sacrifice, Rudy." He goes, "Yeah, no problem, girl." And so Rudy, he then goes to his domain, the kitchen, chat, and he's like, "Gotta get something to fight Michael Myers." And Michael is like right on him, chat, about to grab him because he embedded his knife in the wall. And fucking, it's an infamous scene. Fucking Rudy goes to the spice cabinet, picks up a bunch of paprika, puts on his hand, goes, "Pocket sand." And Michael's like, "Ah!" It incapacitates Michael for a good minute. He's like, oh, the paprika." And then Rudy goes into the drawers, takes out these two fucking big knives, Chad, these big kitchen knives, and he's just slashing at Michael. Yeah, motherfucker, yeah, just, it's like fucking electric nachos from Daredevil stabbing sandbags, Chad. In this case, the sandbags are Michael Myers, and Michael's like, Jesus Christ. Like, Michael, he's not as smart as he used to be, so he's a little overwhelmed by what's happening, Chad. But eventually, Rudy, he like had Michael Myers on the fucking ropes, Chad. He fucking, little bit of dash in his eyes, a little bit of paprika, that pocket sand. And Michael's like, God damn. Michael's trying to avoid the knives and shit. Like, Rudy had it. Rudy fucking had it, Chad. And then for whatever reason, he's like, I'm scared. And he immediately tries to run away. It's like, nah, dude, keep fighting him. You had him on the fucking ropes, and you know what? He fidgeted. He fidgeted, Chad, and that was the problem. He brought this on himself because he tries to run out the door's locked. Michael's like, come here, you, and just grabs him, and he takes the knives, and he, right into Rudy's nibs, right into his nipples, Chad, just pins him there. He's like, hold on, grabs another kitchen knife, boom, and gets him in the gut, Chad, and pins him in the door, and he's like, blah. And Michael's like, fatality, sacrifice, Chad. And he's like, all right, I gotta go and chase after Sarah, Chad. So, Michael then, he starts chasing after Sarah and throughout the entire house. At this point, Decker, he figures out that, this is all real. It's not actually a reality show. I mean, it was a reality show, but Michael Myers, this is actually the Michael Myers, not Busta Rhymes in a mask. And so he starts giving Sarah, like, all these directions, go here, go this way, because all the cameras are still up there. So he's also following Michael Myers throughout the entire house. And at one point, Michael grabs her. Michael grabs her and is about to fucking kill her, Chad. But then, we hear someone, Chad. We hear someone doing very offensive Asian sounds. Kung Fu Asian sounds. And who is it, Chad? It's Busta Rhymes. And he's there to fight Michael Myers. He's like, let it go, motherfucker. And he fucking kicks Michael Myers so hard that Michael goes, bah! He falls all the way back, Chad. And they get into a goddamn fight. But Michael's like, I've never fought anything like this before. So Busta Rhymes like, yeah, man. Yeah, you're going to meet my man, Bruce fucking Lee. And he starts, Michael's like, ah! He starts hitting him, kicking him. He's like, yeah, you like a little of Bruce Lee? How about some Jackie Chan? And he starts hitting with this. Meanwhile, Sarah, she goes and grabs the phone cord, and she jumps on Michael Myers' back, and she starts strangling him, trying to strangle him with the phone cord, the phone wire, Chat. And Michael throws her off because he's being fucking pelted with kicks and punches from Busta Rhymes. But then Busta, he fucking just, he runs all the way back, and then he literally does a fucking drop kick. Take this, motherfucker! And boom, he fucking kicks Michael so hard, he goes out the back window, Chat. The wire gets caught on the roof and gets him by the neck, and chokes him to death, seemingly chokes Michael Myers to death. and Busta and Sarah like, yeah, motherfucker, and they high five and shit. But they go down the stairs. She's like, we got to get the fuck out of this motherfucker. And so they try to exit, but then they notice, oh shit, they get a little ring because now Deckard is contacting Sarah via the internet. And she checks her messages, and it says he's still alive. And they're like, they look outside, and he cut the phone cord. And they're like, shit, oh no, what's going to happen next? And they're like, and they text him, like, where is he? And he's like, he's inside the house. And he's like, where inside the house? And he texts back, right behind you. And Buster's like, oh, shit. And he turns around, and Michael's like, and he stabs the fuck out of Buster. And Buster Rhymes like, no. And Buster Rhymes goes down, seemingly dead, Chat, seemingly killed. Poor Buster. Poor Buster. Eventually, Sarah, she has to continue to run from Michael Myers, so she goes down into the basement. She finds the manhole cover down there. She goes down there, starts running, finds the body, Chat, of dumb Velma impaled. But Michael's following her the entire time. He's like, you like my work? She's like, no! And she continues. She finds another path, and it opens up into the garage. There's another random manhole cover in the garage. She opens that up, and it's where Tyra Banks and Busta Rhymes have been for most of the movie. And then she's walking forward, and then, she slips on just a giant puddle of human blood and feces, and she sees the gutted corpse of Tyra Banks hanging there because Tyra Banks was killed off screen. I was like, did Tyra Banks get killed in the movie? But we don't see her get killed. It's just her going, blah. And like all the food, the food which she's been eating for like the past 48 hours, she had just fell out of her. This is horrible. This is a mess. It stinks. It stinks. And she's slipping and shit. But then Michael, he's coming. He opens the garage, but she hides behind like the little part of the shed. This door of all these tools and shit. And Michael, he's coming. He's like, I saw you, girl. I saw you. And he's like, do you have the keys? And he rips open the door and she has a chainsaw, chat. And this is the closest we're ever going to get to Leatherface versus Michael. So you're fucking welcome. And Michael's like, Jesus Christ. And he's trying to block the chainsaw with his kitchen knife, but it's putting little nicks and cracks in the knife. She's like, yeah, come on. This is for Katie Sackhoff. And this is for fucking Rudy, perform the Blackerface. And this is for the other characters whose names I don't remember. But most importantly, this is for Busta Rhymes. And right before she's about to slash Michael, she gets him a couple times, chat. Right before she's about to slice him into the chainsaw, it just stops. She's like, oh, fucking shit. Michael's like, come here, you. And they start tussling, fighting. And eventually, by the way, this whole fucking place is a fire hazard. It's just covered. It's like the Double Toasted Studios shit. It's like, what if Michael Myers attacked Corey, Martin, and myself in Double Toasted Studios? This is pretty much what would happen. Pretty much what would happen, chat. But, a bunch of the equipment just falls on top of her, and she's like, ah! And, it crushes her thighs, chat, not the thighs. And she can't drag herself out, Michael's like, I'm right here. You're the last fucking one. And it's over, chat. And he brings the knife above his head, and he's right about to bring it down on her, chat. But then, boom! The doors open up, and we see him, chat. Busta Rhymes. And he has one thing on his mind, one thing to say to Michael Myers. Trick or treat, motherfucker. And Myers is like, my God, my ultimate enemy. And the kung fu battle between Michael Myers and Busta Rhymes commences once again. Round 2, baby, round 2. And Sarah witnesses this battle between Titans, chat, as they're throwing each other around the fucking room. Eventually, Myers, he just fucking, I've had enough of you. He throws him against the tool cabinet. And by then, it starts a massive fire. Everything's on fire now, fucking Tyra Banks' body, she's filled herself up with so much alcohol that she's just so flammable, chat. It's like she was drinking kerosene the whole time. And she just goes up, and everything else is on fire inside the garage. And, but right before Michael is about to approach Busta Rhymes and to end his life, chat, Busta Rhymes notices a cut cable, chat, one that's sparking. He then takes the cut cable and is like, here's a treat and a trick for you, motherfucker, and boom, puts it right into Michael Myers' penis and ball sack, chat. Michael's like, my penis! And he just electrifies his penis and nutsack, chat. This causes Michael Myers to fall back into additional wires, which continue to electrocute him. He's like, ah! And Busta Rhymes is like, yeah, motherfucker, burn! Burn, motherfucker, burn! It's like he's rapping right there. And he grabs Sarah, he lifts her out of the DT studio debris, puts her on her back. He's about to leave, but he turns around. He's got to give one last line. And he looks at Michael as he says, and he goes, Happy Halloween, motherfucker. And then he leaves. After that, the garage burns down. And the paramedics, the police, everyone arrives and shit. They're all looking after Busta Rhymes and Sarah. Sarah gets a little call on her phone. Actually, this is weird because she gets a text message from Deckard. And he's like, you made it, you're alive. She's like looking for him, like, oh, you're here? And that would have made sense if he showed up. If he showed up and he's like, I'm here for you now. It's like, oh, shit, he finally had the confidence to go to her. But he's like, no, you're on TV. And she's like, oh. You could tell she's disappointed. And then all these reporters and shit, they're like, oh, Miss, Moyer, what do you have to say about this? You think it's finally over? And she's like, is it ever really over? And they're like, I guess not. And they're assaulting her with questions. And Busta Rhymes like, hey, motherfuckers, back up now. Take it easy, okay? Take it easy. And I'm like, what do you have to say about the events, Busta Rhymes? And Busta Rhymes just starts going off on the speech, this critique on violence in media. And it's just like, we shouldn't be glorifying violence in media. It is horrible. It is not good for the youth. It is not good for any age group. It's like you literally have a show called Dangertainment where you exploit various people, poor college students who are tens and thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. What the fuck are you talking about? Everyone's like, you know what, Busta Rhymes? You're right. He's like, God damn, I am right, motherfucker. They're like, all right, cool. And they're like, oh. They got a body out of the wreckage shed. You know, Tyra Banks, she's gone. She's turned to ash. But they did recover the body of Michael Myers. And they're like, hey, do you want to see him before we take him to the coroner's office, to the morgue? And they're like, yeah, let's see that crispy motherfucker. And so they open it up, and he's burned to a crisp. He's like, ooh. And I was like, why are we doing this? You looking like, he literally says, you're looking like fried chicken in there, Mikey. It's like he's looking like fried chicken. Anyway, they zip him back up. We don't see him, but we get Busta Rhymes' description. And he's loaded into the ambulance, and he's driven away. And then we just cut to the morgue. We cut to the morgue, and the one guy who's like moving the body, he's like, oh, we got another one for you, doc. She's like, oh, what'd you got for me? A celebrity. She's like, haha, who is it? I'll get his autograph in a bit. He's like, yeah, you should. This is Michael Myers. She's like, Michael fucking Myers. He goes, yeah, give me a copy of that autograph. She's like, she's kind of scared. She's like, oh my Lord. And then she goes over and she opens it up, and he's crispy looking, Chad. There's no doubt about it. But she gets her tools, and she's about to operate, and she's getting closer and closer to that scalpel, and then, boom! Michael Myers, his eyes pop up. He's like, where are the keys? And that, my friends, is my scene by scene breakdown for Halloween Resurrection. It's a motherfucker, Jack. It's a motherfucker of a movie. I would, what would I give this? Listen, it has a couple moments which are funny, but man, it's goddamn bad. It's bad. I would have to, man, like extremely low some old bullshit. The lowest some old bullshit. Like, I mean, it could be a fuck you territory. I mean, it very much is, but there's just some stuff that made me laugh so much that I can't help but give it a low. It's a low some old bullshit for me, chat. Low some. He's a gem. He's both the worst and best thing about this movie. No, I hope you enjoyed the review. I hope you liked it. Eric Collins like, oh man, it's a fuck you. Fair enough. I like Viper Fox's emotes just. Oh, just staring. Oh, my Lord. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. Who else is here? Who else popped in? I think I saw Naya Brownie here, too. Viper Naya Brownie, did you enjoy my review? Did you like it? I think it was fun. Fuck you are reserved, the one that pisses you. Yeah, I mean, because I remember probably Halloween 2 is like the worst one. Halloween 2 might be, like Halloween 2, the Rob Zombie film might be even worse. Halloween Ends was a rental for Edward Collins. Halloween Resurrection, low rental, is definitely the worst original series pre-zombie and pre-2018. Valkyrie Buster saved the movie, not to levels of Raul Julia did with Street Fighter, but it was an attempt. There's some fun stuff with him, you know. But again, most of it's just so bad that you can't help but find it funny. So, yeah, I mean, let me tell you this. If Busta Rhymes was not in the film, then it would be a fuck you. It'd be like, all right, get out of here. Then it'll be a fuck you. But at least he's kind of like, not in terms of talent, but in terms of just sheer energy, he's very similar to Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis in some of the films, especially like Halloween 2. It's like, I shot him 6 times. He has that kind of energy. And so, yeah, I'd give it a low some bullshit. You're banned from all black space. What did I do? What do you mean? That's what he says in the movie. That's what he does. Oh, if you're brown, you're going down. If you're a rapper, you have a chance of surviving horror film. You do. If you're a rapper, it's true. That's true. LL Cool J, that must be the key. That must be key. If you're a black man, a horror film, if you're a rapper, you're probably guaranteed to live. Your chances have increased significantly, Chad. I guess so. I guess that might be it. You know damn well Busta Rhymes didn't say motherfucker. I mean, watching the movie, that's all you remember. Well, you changed your Busta Rhymes voice review because you were doing the Chris Tucker voice for a bit. What are you going to do? Redman died. Redman died in Sea of Chucky. That's true. Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, you get crazy powers like Snoop and Bones. Yeah, that's a good point. My friends. Well, still, hope you guys enjoyed the review. We're going to switch over to Man of Medan right now. Tyra Banks watching the review. What is this? Oh, was it muted? Oh, it's muted. Hold on. I got to hear this. Tyra Banks. She didn't do shit in this movie, so I didn't do her any favor shit. All she's doing is eating and drinking in the movie.
I have one thing to say to you. Kiss my fat ass.
Yes, Tyra, yeah! I mean, that's fair. Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. The Tyra Banks show. Oh, my Lord. That's good. It's perfect. That's the best answer to my review. Oh. I want to see Ice Cube's fry across the river. Oh, that would be fucking funny. That'd be great. Just to turn and watch Chris kill the black cat. No, they'll survive. They'll live, hopefully, maybe. Oh, that's the perfect cap of that review. We got to edit that. One time, Alex Bernal, one day when you edit this review, please add that to the very end of the review. That clip. That is too perfect.
I have one thing to say to you. Kiss my